Yo, hoop fans, your sideline sage, Tips and Upstreams, is lacing up once again. On deck, deep dives into the freshest NBA clashes, ready to set the planks ablaze. But before we jump the ball, be sure to hammer that subscribe on our YouTube channel to keep hooked with our sharp forecasts and prime selections. All right, let's bounce into today's NBA Crystal Ball reads. The first prediction for today is for the game between Philadelphia 76ers and Dallas Mavericks. As the NBA season hits its stride, the Philadelphia 76ers and Dallas Mavericks are gearing up for a showdown that's got the entire league buzzing. Both squads have been flexing their muscles and exposing some chinks in their armor, setting the stage for a clash that could tilt their playoff dreams one way or the other. Fresh off a gritty win over the Hornets with a final tally of 121-114, the 76ers have shown they're not shy about digging deep when it matters most. Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris played pivotal roles, lighting up the scoreboard with a combined total of 64 points. This duo's explosive performance is a testament to Philadelphia's knack for rising to the occasion, especially with Maxey dropping 33 points and proving to be a critical asset for the team. With a solid season track record of 34 wins to 25 losses, the 76ers have been turning heads on both offense and defense, boasting an average score of 117.1 points per game while playing some tight D by forcing an average of 14.3 turnovers per game. However, their lower rank in assists per game hints at a tendency to lean on individual brilliance rather than teamwork. On the other side, the Dallas Mavericks, despite taking a hit from the Celtics with a 138-110 defeat, have left no doubt they're contenders. Luka Doncic continues to be the cornerstone of the team, putting up a phenomenal performance with 37 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists in their last game. With a season standing of 34 wins against 26 losses and averaging 118.8 points per game, the Mavericks are just slightly ahead of the 76ers. Yet, their defense took a beating against the Celtics, revealing some cracks that need patching. Looking at the matchup and the game's dynamics, a few aspects stand out. The 76ers connect for snatching steals and keeping their opponents' steal count low underlanes their defensive prowess, potentially throwing a wrench in the Mavericks' offensive gear. Additionally, the recent form of both teams, particularly in their last few showdowns in Dallas, suggests a nail-biter is on the cards. The home court advantage might lean in favor of the Mavericks, but the 76ers have proven their mettle in pressure cooker situations and away from their home turf. The real contest is set to be the Mavericks' offensive might, spearheaded by Doncic, versus the 76ers' defensive strategies. With Philadelphia's edge in turnovers and a slightly superior three-point shooting accuracy, they're well equipped to challenge Dallas's somewhat shaky defense. All things considered, this matchup is shaping up to be a closely fought contest. The Mavericks, with a 9-point advantage, are the bookies' favorites, highlighting their offensive strength and home turf benefit. Yet, the 76ers' tenacity and knack for clutch play could very well see them beating the spread. Factoring in the offensive leanings of both teams and their recent scoring sprees, the total points are expected to exceed the set benchmark of 237 points. To wrap it up, early season games can be wildly unpredictable, but I'm leaning towards a high-scoring duel with the Mavericks clinching a win at home. Nonetheless, the 76ers are anticipated to keep things tight, courtesy of their defensive game plan and offensive inputs from stars like Maxey and Harris. Betting-wise, putting your chips on the Philadelphia 76ers to beat the 9-point spread seems like the savvy move in what's set to be a thrilling face-off. The next prediction for today is for the game between Golden State Warriors and Boston Celtics. An electric vibe electrifies the air as we gear up for a monumental face-off. The Golden State Warriors are about to go head-to-head with the Boston Celtics. We're on the brink of a titan clash, with the Warriors on a commendable 3-game win streak and the Celtics tearing through the league with an unstoppable 10-game winning spree. The Warriors, flaunting a stellar 6-1 record in their recent 7 games, have given us a peek into their once legendary dynasty, particularly with their recent triumphs over the Wizards, Knicks, and Raptors. Their success has been a team effort, spearheaded by Stephen Curry, who's been dropping an average of 27.5 points and dishing out 5 assists per game. Despite Curry's knee injury casting a shadow over his game-time decision, the squad's depth, with players like Klay Thompson and Jonathan Kuminga stepping into the limelight, alongside their sharpshooting from the three-point line and rebounding prowess, positions them as a force to be reckoned with. On the flip side, the Boston Celtics have been nothing short of extraordinary, riding high on a 10-game winning streak that cements them at the top of the Eastern Conference. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been leading Boston's onslaught, making significant contributions in scoring and boards. The Celtics' scoring efficiency, mixed with their defensive grit, has let them steamroll over their opponents, highlighted by their demolition of the Mavericks. When it comes to stats, the Celtics have a slight upper hand in shooting efficiency and rebounding, factors that could be pivotal in the game's outcome. Their knack for maintaining superior field goal and three-point percentages, especially on their turf, might just tip the scales. Moreover, Boston's stellar home record and their knack for covering the spread against Pacific Division foes underscore their dominance at the TD Garden. Looking at the history between these teams in Boston tilts the odds in the Celtics' favor. Their consistent home performance and ability to cover the spread in matchups against Pacific Division teams, paired with Golden State's road game struggles, even though they've been commendable of late, paint a picture that leans towards the Celtics. Injury updates, particularly regarding Stephen Curry's availability, are key to final predictions. Should Curry sit out, the Warriors would face a daunting challenge against a Celtics team that's shown no sign of stopping. Even with Curry on the court, the Celtics' depth and home court advantage make them the front-runners to win and cover the spread. Given the scoring capabilities of both teams and their recent form, it's likely the total points will exceed the 230.5 mark set by bookmakers. Both squads have demonstrated their scoring prowess, and if Curry is in the game, we could witness a scoring extravaganza, further solidifying the over-prediction. The betting lines have swung significantly in favor of the Boston Celtics, indicating a strong possibility that Curry might miss the game due to his knee injury. With the Warriors already missing Andrew Wiggins, and the Celtics being the hottest team in the league with a 10-game winning streak, 6-3-1 against the spread in this run, and an impressive 28-3 straight up at home, it's tough to back the Warriors on the road against the league's top team. In summary, the Boston Celtics are set to continue their winning streak by taking down the Golden State Warriors in this much-anticipated showdown. Their superior scoring efficiency, defensive capabilities, and home court edge, along with the uncertainty around Curry's play, position them as the clear choice. Brace for a scoring spectacle from both teams, with the total points breezing past the 230.5-point mark. I'm placing my bets on the Boston Celtics to secure the win, cover the 9-point spread, and for the total points to soar over 230. The next prediction for today is for the game between Los Angeles Clippers and Minnesota Timberwolves. This Sunday afternoon at the Target Center is set to be a basketball showdown not to be missed as the Los Angeles Clippers gear up to face the Minnesota Timberwolves in a matchup that's buzzing with anticipation. The Clippers, despite their recent ups and downs, are aiming to cement their standing in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves are riding a wave of momentum, having clinched victories in 7 of their last 9 games, asserting their dominance within the conference. The Clippers, boasting an average of 117.8 points per game on a stellar 49.3% shooting, have proven they're a force to be reckoned with on the offensive front. With Kawhi Leonard and Paul George leading the charge, their impactful performances on both ends of the court have been key to their offensive firepower and defensive solidity, holding opponents to 112.9 points on 46.9% shooting. Their precision from the three-point line, hitting 39%, and their free throw accuracy at 81.7% highlight their scoring efficiency. However, their ranking as 20th in rebounds could pose a challenge against a team known for dominating the glass. On the flip side, the Timberwolves are a formidable opponent. With an average score of 113.7 points on 48.8% shooting and limiting their opponents to just 106.6 points on a league-best 44.5% shooting, their strength lies in their balanced gameplay. Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns have been standout performers, with Edwards taking the lead on offense. Anchored by Rudy Gobert's defense, they've cemented themselves as one of the toughest teams to score against, further bolstered by their average of 44.1 rebounds per game, which augments their control over the game's tempo. Looking at their recent head-to-head meetings in Minnesota, the Timberwolves have shown resilience, especially with the advantage of playing on their home court. Coupled with the Clippers' difficulties on the road against teams from the Northwest Division with winning records, this presents an opportunity for the Timberwolves to capitalize on. In terms of performance in back-to-back games, it's noteworthy how such schedules have historically impacted their play. The Clippers tend to falter in daytime games following tight contests, while the Timberwolves exhibit a knack for bouncing back, particularly against Western Conference foes following overtime battles, showcasing their ability to withstand pressure. Analyzing the team's stats, the Timberwolves have a defensive edge that could prove pivotal in this matchup. Their knack for stifling opponents' scoring while maintaining offensive fluidity might just tip the scales in their favor. The Clippers, despite their offensive prowess, may struggle to penetrate the Timberwolves' robust defense, especially in an away game. Taking into account the statistical insights, recent form, and past encounters, the Timberwolves seem poised to take the upper hand in this clash. Their defensive strength, combined with offensive efficiency and home court advantage, makes them the likely victors and favorites to beat the spread. While the Clippers will not go down without a fight, the Timberwolves' balanced attack should carry them to victory. Hence, my prediction leans towards the Minnesota Timberwolves triumphing and covering the 1.5-point spread, leveraging their strong points to extend their commendable streak in the conference. The next prediction for today is for the game between Detroit Pistons and Orlando Magic. As we dive deep into the NBA season, an electrifying clash is on the horizon with the Detroit Pistons locking horns with the Orlando Magic. This face-off sees two titans of the Eastern Conference at crossroads in their season's saga. The Pistons, hungry to turn the tide on their recent downturn, have stumbled in 7 out of their last 8 matchups. Conversely, the Orlando Magic are surfing on a high, clinching wins in 5 of their recent 6 games. A closer look at the Detroit Pistons reveals a squad struggling to hit a consistent stride. Despite a notable victory over the Bulls, their campaign has been shadowed by defeats, including tough losses to the Knicks and Cavs. Cade Cunningham stands out as the squad's lighthouse, averaging 22.4 points and consistently hitting 20 or more in his latest 5 appearances. Jaden Ivey and Simone Fontecchio have also stepped up, yet the team's collective output has been lacking, with offensive and defensive ranks languishing at 25th and 27th respectively. Despite a high-tempo ranked 10th, success has been elusive. The Orlando Magic, on the other hand, have emerged as the dark horses, especially on their home turf. Spearheaded by the dynamic Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, with Banchero averaging 22.8 points and 5.2 assists, the Magic's defense stands as their bastion positioned 4th in efficiency. This contrasts with their measured pace, ranked 26th, a strategy that has been key to their uptick in form. Comparing the two teams, the Magic's robust defense and marginally better offensive efficiency might tip the scales in their favor. Yet, the Pistons' fighting spirit and knack for covering the spread against Eastern Conference winners suggest a tighter contest than one might expect. Historical matchups in the host city favor the home side, with the Magic boasting a streak of 12 home victories against teams with a losing record. Furthermore, the favorites have consistently covered the spread in the Magic's last 6 home games at the Kia Center, indicating an edge for Orlando. However, the Pistons have demonstrated grit, successfully covering the spread in 8 of their last 9 games, following a home loss, signaling their capacity for a strong comeback. Injuries could be a deciding factor, though both teams appear primed, with the Pistons adjusting post-trade and the Magic leveraging their home advantage and defensive strength. Despite the Pistons' recent spread performance and their ability to keep games tight, they make a compelling case as underdogs. Nonetheless, the Magic's defensive solidity and track record at home against losing teams position them as likely victors. Still, the Pistons' resilience and knack for covering significant spreads, particularly in their recent encounters with Orlando, should not be underestimated. In sum, while the Orlando Magic are the favorites, the Detroit Pistons are poised to make it a close contest, making them a solid bet to cover the spread. With the team's current dynamics and recent form, the Pistons' resolve and the Magic's defensive fortitude promise an engaging showdown. However, the Magic's consistent defense and home advantage are expected to carry them to victory, but anticipate the Pistons to put up a valiant fight and cover the spread in a nail-biter. My prediction: the Pistons will cover the 11.5-point spread in a competitive battle that keeps fans on the edge of their seats. The next prediction for today is for the game between Charlotte Hornets and Toronto Raptors. Tonight's showdown between the Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors is gearing up to be an electrifying face-off. The Hornets are currently weathering a tough phase, having succumbed to powerhouses such as the Warriors, Bucks, and 76ers in their recent outings. This streak of defeats has further deepened their playoff absence, underscoring a season fraught with injury woes and adaptation challenges following the trade deadline. Yet, amidst the turbulence, they've managed to sparkle at moments, notably in their close-fought battle with the 76ers, showcasing their potential, albeit a lack of unity. Conversely, the Raptors' performance has been a mixed bag, with an even split in their last 6 matches. A recent setback against the Warriors was further exacerbated by Scotty Barnes' injury, a cornerstone of their squad. His absence leaves a gaping hole, given his all-around impact. Nevertheless, the likes of R.J. Barrett and Jakob Poeltl have stepped up, demonstrating a prowess that could tip the scales in tonight's contest. Statistically, the Hornets are putting up 107.6 points per game at a 45.8% clip, whereas the Raptors are slightly ahead with 114.5 points on 47.7% shooting. Both squads show defensive cracks, yet the Raptors' knack for seizing fast break opportunities, topping the league with 18.8 points per game in such instances, might set them apart. Moreover, the Raptors' home court advantage over the Hornets, with 6 straight wins in Toronto, is a factor that can't be ignored. Injury updates introduce another dimension to tonight's game predictions. The Hornets, amidst their roster shuffles and the fatigue of road games, might find a silver lining against a Raptors team adjusting to life without Barnes. However, Toronto's bench depth and high-caliber substitutes are primed to bridge the gap left by Barnes. Reviewing their recent encounters in Toronto, the trend leans towards a Raptors edge, compounded by the Hornets' road game challenges in the Eastern Conference. Yet the Hornets' recent valiant displays suggest a squad on the brink of translating effort into wins, particularly against a Raptors side recalibrating post-injury. Considering the Raptors' defensive shortcomings and the Hornets' urgent quest for victory, expect a high-scoring game. The Hornets have a knack for keeping contests close, even in losses, while the Raptors have lately leaned heavily on their offense in the absence of Barnes, forecasting a neck-and-neck battle. The Raptors, on paper, are the superior team and are the favorites. However, the idea of an 8-point spread in their favor doesn't sit right, given their struggles to clinch games, much less by a significant margin, evidenced by their 12-18 home record. The Hornets have shown improved competitiveness recently, including clinching some wins and covering the spread in 6 of their last 9 games. In summary, though the Raptors are tipped to win, the missing presence of Scotty Barnes and their fluctuating form make the spread seem unwarranted. The Hornets, despite their skid, have remained contenders in their matches and could take advantage of the Raptors' weaknesses. Anticipate a tightly contested affair, with the Hornets likely covering the spread, but the Raptors edging out a slim victory at home, mainly due to their historical dominance at their base and the Hornets' travel tribulations. Nonetheless, the prudent bet, given the uncertainties and dynamics at play, leans towards the Hornets covering the 8-point spread in a likely high-scoring duel, possibly driving the total over 223.5 points. The next prediction for today is for the game between New York Knicks and Cleveland Cavaliers. As we dive deep into the NBA's heart-pounding season, the New York Knicks are gearing up to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers in a showdown that's lighting up the hoops world. The Knicks, caught in a bit of a whirlwind after dropping 7 out of their last 9, are hungry to bounce back and climb up the Eastern Conference ladder. On the flip side, the Cavs are riding a wave of momentum, looking to capitalize on their split of the last 8 games. This face-off is more than just a game. It's a battle of wills, a true test of grit and tenacity. Leading the charge for the Knicks is Jalen Brunson, dropping a cool 27.7 points and snagging 3.8 rebounds per game. Julius Randle and OG Anunoby have been throwing down as well, though the shadow of injuries looms large, adding a twist of unpredictability to their play. The Knicks have been holding their own on the court, with an offense that's been firing off 113.6 points per game on 46.4% shooting, though their defense could use a bit of tightening up, letting through 109.9 points at a 47.4% clip. The Cavs are stepping onto the court with a bit of an edge, boasting 114.6 points on 48.1% shooting. With Donovan Mitchell's playtime up in the air due to knee woes, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley have been stepping up, showcasing the squad's depth. Their defense has been on point too, restricting opponents to just 109.6 points on 45.4% shooting. When looking at the squads head-to-head in their city showdowns, home court advantage has tipped the scales in the past. The Knicks at home versus the Cavs on the road hints at a nail-biter, with both teams showing off their efficiency. Yet the Cavs' sharpshooting and rebounding might just give them the upper hand in this clash. With the injury list and player availability playing a pivotal role, the potential absence of Julius Randle for the Knicks and Donovan Mitchell's possible comeback for the Cavs could tilt the game. The Knicks' resilience and the Cavs' solid second-quarter performances hint at a game that's too close to call. Given both teams' recent trajectories, the Knicks struggle to beat the spread, and the Cavs' inconsistent ATS record, picking a clear victor is tough. Yet, with the Knicks' tenacity and the Cavs' home advantage, we're looking at a showdown that could defy the odds. The game's tempo, with the Knicks setting a slow pace against the Cavs' scoring and defensive strategy, showcases a clash of styles. The Knicks' top-notch rebounding might just level the playing field against the Cavs' offensive prowess, making the boards a key battleground. All things considered, including recent form, city-based matchups, player stats, and injury reports, this game is shaping up to be an epic battle that could go either way. The Cavs might look stronger on paper, especially if Mitchell hits the court, but never count out the Knicks' hunger for victory and their rebounding strength. Looking at the spread and total points margin, expect a closer game than many anticipate. The Knicks, with everything to prove, might just overcome the spread, particularly if it turns into a defensive battle, as recent trends suggest. Sitting on the fence about backing either team, the Knicks' recent struggles, especially without Randle, and their 1-9 spread record in the last 10 games stand out. The Cavs are also 3-7 against the spread in their last 10, with Mitchell's status in question. Yet, the Knicks have a shot here, considering their head-to-head history with the Cavs, winning and covering the spread in 2 out of the last 10 matchups. In sum, this Knicks-Cavs bout is set to be a thriller, with both teams bringing their A-game and leaving no stone unturned. With the game dynamics at play, the Knicks are slightly favored to cover the 6-point spread in a match that might just keep the score under the 212 total points margin. The next prediction for today is for the game between Indiana Pacers and San Antonio Spurs. In an electrifying NBA showdown, the San Antonio Spurs are set to duke it out with the Indiana Pacers. Instead of the usual Pacers domain, this clash will go down either on neutral ground or the Spurs turf. This game pits two squads heading in opposite directions against each other. The Pacers are riding a wave of momentum, snagging victorias in 5 of their recent 8 contests, while the Spurs are looking to flip the script after a rough patch, dropping 10 out of their last 12. The Pacers, armed with an offense that's lighting up the scoreboard with an average of 123.6 points on a solid 50.6% from the field, are nothing short of formidable. With Tyrese Halliburton serving up 11.4 assists per game, and Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner leading the charge in scoring and boards, Indiana's firepower is on full display. However, their defense has shown some cracks, especially after letting the Pelicans pour in 48 points in just the first quarter, underscoring their defensive struggles with an average of 122.1 points allowed on comparable shooting stats. Conversely, the Spurs, despite hitting a rough patch, have shown glimpses of what the future holds, largely thanks to their standout rookie, Victor Wembanyama. Dropping 20.7 points and grabbing 10.2 rebounds per game, Wembanyama's impact is undeniable, offering a glimmer of hope with his scoring, rebounding, and block party. That said, the Spurs' defensive game plan needs shoring up, as they're giving up 120.6 points on 49.3% shooting. With the Spurs playing host, it's game time for recalibrating the odds. The Spurs' lair has been a fortress of sorts, and despite the Pacers' offensive juggernaut status, San Antonio's secret weapons, especially Wembanyama's two-way prowess, could spell trouble for Indiana's shaky defense. Diving into the head-to-head stats in San Antonio throws up intriguing insights. With the home crowd's energy possibly tipping the scales, the Spurs are poised to put the Pacers' defense to the test, focusing on Indiana's high-octane offense versus San Antonio's home advantage and Wembanyama's versatility. Factoring in the Pacers' defensive woes and the Spurs' home court edge, the 7-point spread looks like a hurdle San Antonio can clear. The Spurs' grit, combined with Wembanyama's stellar plays, puts them in a good spot to beat the spread. While the Pacers might still secure a win in what's expected to be a scorefest, given both teams' defensive track records, the Spurs' fighting spirit and strategic tweaks should make for a much tighter contest than the betting line indicates. Conclusion: weighing all the variables, including the Spurs' home or neutral advantage, the forecast tilts in favor of the San Antonio Spurs overcoming the 7-point spread. The impactful Victor Wembanyama, alongside the Pacers' defensive lapses, primes this matchup for a closely fought battle, with the Spurs expected to exceed expectations. My bet is on the Spurs to cover. The last prediction for today is for the game between Oklahoma City Thunder and Phoenix Suns. In the electrifying world of NBA basketball, we're on the edge of our seats for a blockbuster clash as the Oklahoma City Thunder head to Phoenix, ready to light up the court against the Suns in a game that's guaranteed to be a spectacle. With the Thunder on a hot streak, claiming victory in 6 of their last 7 outings, they're aiming to solidify their reputation as titans of the Western Conference. Meanwhile, the Suns, balancing their scales with wins and losses in their recent games, are set to climb the ladder and flex their championship-worthy muscle. This season, the Thunder have been nothing short of sensational, showcasing a high-voltage offense that's lighting up scoreboards with an average of 121.2 points on a league-topping 50.2% from the field, while their defense has been a fortress, conceding just 103.3 points on 45.1% shooting. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropping a stunning 31.2 points and dishing out 6.5 assists per game has been the driving force, with Jalen Williams and the versatile Chet Holmgren adding depth to their arsenal. Their sharp shooting from the perimeter and unparalleled free throw accuracy underline their offensive juggernaut status. On the flip side, the Suns are not to be underestimated, with their own explosive scoring averaging 117.2 points and shooting 49.4%. The powerhouse pairing of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker is at the forefront, with Durant's scoring prowess and Booker's lethal playmaking. Their three-point sharpness and free throw proficiency have been crucial to their strategy. Defensively, they're holding the fort, limiting opponents to 114.4 points and dominating the glass with an average of 43.8 rebounds per game. The face-off in Phoenix has historically been a heavyweight bout, with both teams showing they're no strangers to hard-fought battles. Yet, the Thunder's recent form and statistical edge give them a slight upper hand in this duel. A key to this showdown is the Thunder's advantage in rest, having had a break since Thursday, compared to the Suns, who played just last night. This could tip the scales in favor of the Thunder, especially considering the Suns' mixed results lately, and the Thunder's comprehensive win in their last November meetup. Taking into account the back-to-back scenario for the Suns, the Thunder's efficiency and depth, especially in shooting and rebounding, tilt the odds in their favor against a possibly weary Suns team. Oklahoma City's impressive track record against the spread this season further highlights their knack for outperforming expectations. Injuries and player availability will be decisive, with both teams leaning heavily on their stars. However, the Thunder's depth and adaptability give them an edge in navigating any game-time decisions. Given the stats, recent performances, and the strategic element of the Suns playing back-to-back, the prediction leans towards the Oklahoma City Thunder, not just winning, but also covering the 3.5-point spread. Their offensive firepower, combined with a tactical defense, and the Suns' potential weariness, prime the Thunder for extending their victorious run. To wrap up, the Oklahoma City Thunder, with their superior scoring, sharp shooting, and strategic defense, further boosted by their rest advantage, are pegged as the front-runners in this high-octane showdown against the Phoenix Suns. The Thunder are expected to not only win, but also cover the spread, reinforcing their status as bona fide championship contenders. My bet is on the Oklahoma City Thunder to triumph and beat the spread.